Oh, hi, Sean. This is Ian again. We're onto the final stretch now, the fifth behaviour in our series on the 5 dysfunctions of a team. The fifth behaviour is attention to results, and of course, that's what the whole teamwork thing is about. It's about delivering and getting great results. So, quickly to recap, we've got the vulnerable trust foundation in place. We've got the ability to have constructive conflict from which we get great decisions. We commit to those decisions as a team. We hold each other accountable to those decisions, and now we want to make sure that we deliver the results. And it's important that that we have that foundation in place, because what we're looking at, what we're delivering, is a team that works together really well to deliver those results. So if one member of the team has a particular task that needs to be done, the rest don't stand back and watch, but they actually get involved and support. And that may mean actually sharing resources and all that sort of stuff. The other thing about results being important in a team is that the goal, the targets are very clear, and there are some very clear measures around those results. Mm-hmm. And not only measuring the output, which is very often the case, but also the input. So, is the team doing all of the jobs at the right times to deliver the results? Very often what happens is you look in the rearview mirror, you get to the point where you want the result, it hasn't been delivered, what did we do wrong? Mm. So I don't know whether that makes sense, but if you've gone through the foundation, you're in place as a team to really deliver some great results.
Mm. And I guess within that, I know from our previous conversations, you've identified the ownership within the group for everybody's individual results and collective results. So if somebody, for instance, in another department is struggling, or another department itself is struggling to hit their targets and their results, then it's incumbent upon the teams that want to be high performance to engage and support, share best practice, upgrade, the whole works, in order to get other team or individual to be able to level up and deliver results. Yes.
Yeah, it's about collective ownership of the targets, and I think probably in terms of the 5 behaviours, this is the one where the leader has the most. It's the most importance to exercise influence, where they really sort of start to demand that everybody gets together and calls people out if the behaviours are not really focused as a team around delivering those results.
Yeah, and I think that's the bit where the emotional intelligence of a leader and also key influencers within the organization really start to come to the fore. Because if you end up with in-team fighting or inter-department, you can have rivalries as long as they're sort of healthy rivalries. Much the same as you may have in a sports team, where you have many little sets of rivalries, but ultimately everybody is focused on helping everybody else to get to the get over the try line, if you like, or score the goal, or actually win the tournament, whatever. So
and the sort of distractions to getting good team results is individuals' priorities overtaking the team's priorities. Making moves to their career rather than getting the team. And understandable, and we all want to get on, we all want to do well, but if you have a culture where collective success actually helps everybody within their own personal agenda, that's what you need to be striving for as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And this to me is key to high performance teams versus teams that just get by. And it is that collective approach. And for me, it goes all the way back to what vision do you have within your organization? What's the quality of the leadership, and what's the culture you're creating? And are you creating that safe belong matter for everybody in the organization? Because if you are, you then start attracting the kind of people who have a collective responsibility for results in their ethos. And that then adds and grows your business. And it is the 1 or 2% of the difference that has a company doing really, really well, and a company actually achieving outstanding. And it comes down to that cohesion within the whole team.
Yeah, and it's you mentioned culture, and that's going to be really important as well, because when you have a culture that's fun to work in and achieves results, it'll start to attract talent. It'll maintain it. It'll keep talent and start to attract talent.
Yeah.
And with the new millennials coming in, being able to be a desired place of work is going to be a key strategic differentiator going forward, I think.
Key, and it's that ability to have flexible working. You know, the one thing I noticed, and I have experience of working in an organization where trust was really low, and the results were the responsibility for the results were laid firmly at individuals' feet. And that put a great deal of pressure on those individuals when those results were not what was expected right at the beginning of the contract, if you like. And I know from personal experience the damage that does to you as a person when you are hung out to dry for results that actually should have been a collective, collective effort, and also collective responsibility. That if, you know, checking in right back at the beginning, as you identified, are those targets and desired results reasonable? And when I say reasonable, I mean, given the market that you're in, are they smart targets and smart results? Because if they're not, and you don't have a structure in place to support the individual going out to achieve them, you're setting them up for failure. And if you set them up for failure, everyone else in the organization observes and feels that, and then who's next? Next in the firing line. So now you create this uncertainty within the organization. If they can do that to one person, they'll do that to every person. Now you end up with a breakdown. And the complete reverse of that is identifying really good, smart targets and the results you really want. And secondly, there are many other things, but secondly, if the culture is supportive, where everyone feels safe, belong, and matter, then other people in the organization will help to step up and help that individual. But also one other critical factor in here is that individual who may be failing or holding the weight of the organization on their shoulders will also be willing to ask for help. And there's another key thing in high performance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That goes back to the vulnerable trust, which is at the foundation.
You see how it weaves through everything.
Good teams, in terms of results, have a battle rhythm of meetings. So they'll have some very short meetings to just check if there are any issues. They'll have some sort of weekly, bi-weekly meetings to check that things are on track and ask for help when they need to make sure. And they'll have some maybe monthly to check, recheck the plan, recheck the targets, recheck the assumptions that those targets were made on, and are they valid? Are they still valid? Do we need to adjust? And when you do that, you're sort of course correcting on a journey to deliver great results. It's very powerful, and so few companies do it.
I was about to say, I'm working with one at the moment.
Few companies do it.
Yeah, I'm working with one at the moment. That's exactly their problem. They delegate a task out. They think they're delegating it correctly, but they're effectively delegating it 100%, and they're not doing any supportive element at all. Nothing. And then they complain about the outcome. So, okay, so our time is very limited. We've got about 45 seconds left.
One more thing on results.
Wrap it up.
Focus. Many companies I've worked with try and do far too many things. It's important to work out what the big thing is and focus on that, then move on to the next afterwards.
Absolutely. So quick recap we've had.
A quick recap, results are very important. You've got to build it on the foundation of the 5 behaviors that we talked about. You've got to have regular touch points to check against some clear measurable targets. You've got to have a team that supports each other in terms of delivering those goals.
Perfect. And on that note, we'll end it.
Cheers. Bye, everybody.